Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? Another live stream. If you're in here live, let me know that everything sounds okay and looks okay. If you're watching the replay or you're in here live, please do hit that thumbs up button. It makes a massive difference. If you're curious why I have to ask, it's because it helps the videos get promoted out to more people, which allows me to help impact and reach more people. So win-win. So hit that like button on this video and every single video I've ever made of all time. Please. Thank you. Anyways. As usual, feel free to skip ahead a few minutes if you're watching the replay. We're going to try something slightly different, not really that different, but I'm thinking that it would be cool to gear this live stream a little bit towards one specific topic of product research, because that's what so many of the questions are always about anyways, which is, that makes sense because it's the most important aspect. So I'm thinking we can kind of like try to steer the conversation there within product research. That said, probably for the sake of my attention span, it'd probably be fun to mix some others in too. So that is not a strict rule by any means, but just thinking, yeah, maybe we'll kind of gear it a little towards the one topic of product research for the most part, not 100%. If you guys are in here live, please do hit that thumbs up. I'm trying to see how many of you have actually done that so far. I don't think it's updated on my phone, but please do hit that like button. Makes a big difference. And in just a minute, I'll start getting into the questions as people get in here. Looks like we're up to 40 people. Thank you for being in here. If you just jumped in now, what I was saying is going to gear this one a little more towards product research specifically. You're still free to ask some other questions, and I'm sure it'll be nice to take little divergence as well. Already seeing some pop in, some questions. We're at 2 minutes, so I guess let's just get started in a sec. I'll just first say, if you're not already, there's a free entrepreneurship Facebook group in the description. Amazing group. We're about to hit 5,000 members. That's free. That's mostly focused around Amazon FBA, but really all things entrepreneurship. I would love to expand that conversation out even further. So there's absolutely no reason to not join that. Get in there. You can also follow me on Instagram, Matt Loberstein. Same on Facebook page, same on Twitter, all of that. So, okay. I'll start with this unrelated question because before we get into that, but do you take any supplements or nootropics? If so, which ones? So I take a ridiculous amount of supplements, yes. Those that don't know, probably the area that I invest is in myself, in my body, in the food that I eat, in the supplements that I take, in all of the wacky little experiments and things that I try out in order to make this thing as good as it can be, not physically, just like, my mental performance, my longevity, lifespan, happiness, just all around. So I invest a ton in that. I've thought about making a video or breaking that down. To be honest, I don't even know what the price of all of those things are, but I take a ton of supplements. I don't know if I would even list them all out or if people would care or not, but I do take a ton. I would say for anybody not taking supplements, like starting with vitamin D, vitamin K2, magnesium. I take all those and much more. Those are like really core ones. A really high quality fish oil would be good. I take that, and I take like 10 others, but I'll leave that for the real nerds that want to connect in a Facebook group. Oh, I even have a biohacking Facebook group as well, in addition to the entrepreneurship Facebook group. Just started that recently. So if you're interested in that nerdy type of stuff, optimizing your health, get in there as well. It's down in the description. Nootropics though, I don't really touch like the more pharmaceutical feeling synthetic side of nootropics. I'm not a huge fan of like the more drug side of nootropics. I'm much more interested in like the natural things. Like for example, right now, what I would consider on the nootropic spectrum that I'm interested in, well before that, I would say all the B vitamins for sure, is lion's mane mushroom. That's a good one. Yes, product research for 2019. Yeah, main topic of today is going to be product research. So start hitting me with the product research questions. Is it better to test products from different categories when starting if you are not sure of a brand yet? No, I would say that is the wrong move, actually. The more you just kind of divert your attention and try to launch this and not really give any of them the proper love and attention, the more none of them are going to work. Like the way to do this is not to just try a bunch of products and not really have any idea what you're doing. The way to do it is not that, but to really focus in on one niche, one brand, and having your images, your positioning, having everything world class with a real plan, with real marketing budget behind it. That is the blueprint to success, not just spraying a bunch of products and trying to see what happens. So I would say what you said there is not what I would do. So definitely take that into consideration. How to verify your product insert is not breaking TOS, terms of service. Anybody just starting out may not know. Product insert, that's referring to like a card inside the physical package of your product. The reason you would do this is to potentially try to steer people towards discounts to reorder, to get on email lists, to follow up with them for a review, things like that. So the main point here is that you cannot incentivize a review. If you've got that aspect of it locked down and you understand it well, you're probably going to be fine on any of the other aspects. Like that's the biggest piece where you could potentially be breaking terms of service. So for example, you cannot say, leave us a 5-star review. Well, that's a little sub point there. If you're asking for a review ever, you don't want to say 5-star review. You just need to say like review. That said, if you are asking for a review, you cannot incentivize it by saying, if you review this, we'll give you a free product, we'll give you $20 off, we'll refund your order by $5. You cannot do anything like that. That's the big one, so I'll probably just leave that answer as that because that's the main aspect of it. Hey, Matt here from Austin, Texas. Awesome. I love Austin. Austin's really cool. What is the price range you recommend when finding products? I've seen some of the members in your Facebook group have products with a selling price over $100. Is that something you recommend? Yeah, that's actually Danny Cash. Shout out to Danny Cash. He is a member of Zero to Brand, my training that covers A to Z, how to build a brand, how to sell on Amazon, all of that. He's in there, and his product is, it's well over $100. And he's crushing. He did $28,000 in his first month. I believe that is the proper statistic. If I'm slightly wrong, it's in that range, which is incredible. And while it's not necessary to sell a $100 plus product, I think it's fantastic. I'm all for it. And he is a great example of a success of somebody going well above that price point. I'm all for it. I think here's a little look behind the curtain right now. I think this is one of the best places to look, actually, is higher priced products. For the most part, everything I ever teach or talk about is based on things I have actually done. Now, that said, most of my products are in the sort of $25 to $40 price point. Most of those products are also products I launched, more than a year ago. So where am I looking now? An area that I'm extremely bullish on is high priced products. Look, the thing you'll hear all the time is like, well, what about the impulse buys? Don't you want to have something under $50 because then the customer doesn't need to have as much thought into it and all of that. They don't need to know if you're a real brand and all of that. I think there's some truth to that, but here's the thing. A $40 product versus an $80 product. It is not twice as hard to sell an $80 product as a $40 product. It is not twice as hard to sell an $160 product as an $80 product. It is not proportional like that. So while it's harder, it's not that much harder. And then you have to sell less units. So I'm all for it. I think it's a great place to look. Not the only place to look, but personally, I think the more I can get that price point up, the more excited I am at this point. Now, the downside of that is for people just starting out, it's going to cost you more upfront in most cases because typically we might be talking about larger items. You might be looking at sea shipping right away. So it's very easy to get up to like a 5-figure first order when you're dealing with over the $100 price point. So, yeah. What is your favorite cheese? I don't eat cheese. Part of my wacky diet that I do is I don't eat dairy other than Grass-fed ghee and butter, mainly because of the casein being inflammatory. If you're a nerd about that stuff, again, Biohacking Facebook group, get in there. I think we're past 300 something members now, which is cool. It's a ton of fun. I'm really pumped for that because I just geek out about that stuff, and I could talk about that stuff even longer than I could talk about Amazon. I love talking about both, but that topic for me is really a passion. So. Let me see if I skip over your question as usual, just ask it again. I'd like to try to cover the ones that are more recent, just so you guys don't feel like it's not live or something like that. Wait, why do you have shoes near your TV? LOL. Those are the Gary Vee signed shoes. It has Gary Vee's signature on it. I'll hit. Let me see. All 72 watching, hit like, still 20 likes. Yeah, please do. Come on. If you don't hit like, at least tell me in the comments right now why you're not hitting like. I would love to know. I would love to know that. When you look for a product and want to build a brand around it, how can you make sure that the other products you expand to will have success? Do you run Jungle Scout 2 on said potential items? Exactly. A few points on this. First off, yes, all of those potential products that are synergistic with your first product, you're going to evaluate them the exact same way that you evaluated your first product. You know, what is the market size? How is the competition? Can I differentiate? Is there room for me in the market? Like, you still need to evaluate all those things when building out a related product line. It doesn't mean to just ignore all of that good evaluation just because you have a brand. You need to use these things in conjunction. So with that, though, the fact that it's related gives you an advantage that the other people don't, which is that the customers are the same people. If you're serving the same customers, you can market to your past customers. You can have your products frequently bought together with each other, which cross-promotes within Amazon. There's just so much advantage to that. And that gives you an advantage over people, like say your second product, people that's their first product, they are at a loss compared to you because you have these other leverage points that brand new seller jumping in doesn't have. So that's the way to build up sort of power on Amazon over time, is by having your network of related products. I actually ordered a product from Amazon where the insert said to leave a positive review. Yeah, you'll see people doing that type of stuff all the time. Not uncommon, but you know, will you get banned immediately? Probably not, but why put your entire business at risk? You're trying to build something long-term, scalable, valuable. You're trying to change your life. You're trying to, do something big. Why risk having it all shut down? It's just not the way that I play. Hello, Matt. Just wanted to congratulate you on your success. It's great watching you grow. When I met you a few years ago, keep it up. Awesome, dude. I appreciate that. Thanks a ton. Let's see. Would you focus on building one brand at a time? How many products per brand before thinking of second brand? That's a good question. It's a great question. And I think it's one that you ultimately won't know the answer to until you're in there. I'm guessing, and actually let me zoom this out even to a broader point, because I have a feeling what you're doing here is you're probably asking that question before you've even launched the first product. And this seems to be a common thing just in business and entrepreneurship in general, is that we want to solve problems that we're not even immediately facing. And it's a massive distraction. So if you're not immediately facing that problem, I would say don't even think about it. You got to just solve the problems as they're coming up and take action steps where you're at instead of trying to solve every potential issue that could ever come up. Now, that might not be the case. I just wanted to make that point. But the thing is like, if maybe your first brand, your first product, maybe you didn't really know what you were doing. Maybe you made some mistakes and now you know more than you knew then. That was the case with my second brand versus my first brand. That was the case for if I'm going to start a brand now versus a brand I started 3 years ago. I know more now than I did then. So in some cases, it makes sense to shift your focus to the new brand, because now you've identified a better market, something you're more passionate about, something you think you can make a bigger impact in. All that stuff is important. And like, look, if we always just stuck with our first brand, our first product, like that's not the way to go either. From the very beginning though, you should be trying to think about one brand, and that one product leads to that one brand. But that doesn't mean that you're like, you're marrying that product and that brand for all eternity and you have no ability to ever launch a second brand, because maybe a year after launching your first brand, you have more money, you have more resources, you have more experience, and then you decide, you know what, I think this opportunity is bigger than just continuing to expand out my existing brand. And that's fine, that's great, that's what I've done, that's what I'm going to continue to do. I hope that makes sense. Quick interruption, just a reminder, mainly focusing on product research questions. Feel free to ask other stuff too, but gonna try to make this one product research focused. Let's see. Are you still drinking the plankton water? What's the name of the brand? Not sure what the plankton water was. If you mean the raw spring water, the unprocessed stuff, yeah, it's a live spring water. How do you know that a product will not get instantly saturated and that there are many other people interested in getting into the market? Also, how's your new biohacking page going? So, here's what comes to mind for that. If you're the only reason that would happen is if you're getting into something that seems incredibly time sensitive. And the way that I like to look at it is that if this product depends on me launching it today versus 3 weeks from now, like if that time shift of 3 weeks is what I think is going to be the difference of me failing or succeeding, forget it. Like, I never want to be on the clock like that, because it's always going to take longer than you think. That's the type of opportunity that's going to go from one competitor to 300 competitors. The ones where that doesn't happen is the ones where you can take your time and it's already kind of established and you just evaluate it based on all of the criteria that I always talk about and teach. Then you're not playing this race game. You're not playing this like timing game, which I never would recommend anybody playing, and I never play. So that's where that happens the worst. Instantly saturated. If something's going to get instantly saturated, that's because it seems like this hot, new, wide open opportunity. And yeah, absolutely, other people are going to find that, and other people are going to order your product, and they're all going to launch at the same time, and it's going to be near impossible. And that's why I don't look for trends and fads and short-term stuff. But if you're evaluating this market just on a more holistic, zoomed out overview, it's not going to be as much of a problem. Now, that doesn't mean you're never going to have new competitors. You are. But you're not going to see that flood the way you would of when you find something that's almost too good to be true, the timing, all of that. Hope that makes sense. How's the biohacking page going? Yeah, the group. I think it's past like 300 members. It's really cool. Like I was already saying, it's just a ton of fun for me to get to hang out with people that are interested in that stuff, because I'm super interested in that stuff. All the crazy stuff, fasting, ketogenic diets, maybe a little talk about psychedelics, nootropics, all these types of hacks for sleep and sunlight and, avoiding toxins and all that type of stuff. I'm super into it. So yeah, it's going well. It's a lot of fun. So again, link is in the description. Those groups are free, by the way. Like, they're just fun places to network and hang out and get to talk about cool stuff like entrepreneurship or biohacking and health. More videos on health. I'm glad you guys are always pushing me to. Keep pushing me, because I still feel weird. I still feel like if I post videos about other stuff, like a lot of people are going to be like, what the hell is this? Like, I just want to know how to make $1 billion in 1 minute on Amazon. I don't want to learn about other stuff. I don't want to, I don't know. That's just my own thing. I think eventually I think just from a personal level, I would love for someday for my channel to be like, have several topics. And I think it's all encompassed under life optimization in general. That's what business is. That's the only reason you're really interested in Amazon FBA, right? Like, why do you want to make money on Amazon? Like, there's probably a bigger reason. And that bigger reason probably has other sort of paths within it that are going to also improve your life. What is the best way to build a launch list while waiting for product to get into the warehouse? So It's a tough question to answer because I think that there's a lot of different ways to do this that can all work tremendously well. And there's not really like a right or a wrong. I think what's more important than that is, are you doing something or are you doing nothing? So if you feel like you can build up an Instagram page, do that. If you are competent in building email lists, do that. If you think you can start a Facebook group, do that. It's not like right now there's a ton of fascination around ManyChat, which, don't get me wrong, massive power in that, but it's not the only way to do this. So if you want to go down that rabbit hole, absolutely, by all means. But like the real important thing is to build up interest in an audience of people around your topic somewhere. And I like to say that intentionally vaguely for the reasons I just said, which is that it's better, like like I'm not going to say a Facebook group is better than an Instagram page or whatever. Like, it's all good if utilized well. And there's also ways of doing this without even owning your own organic audience. You can partner with people with audiences. You can partner with influencers. You can have affiliates send out email blasts. There's just so much to marketing that even, I'm still learning a ton of it, frankly. Like, absolutely, like all the time I'm learning this because there's so many facets to this. So the more you can just figure out some piece of that, the better. Let's see. Hit the like button. Do you sell in multiple markets? And if so, what does each market need? Its own UPC, regulatory, UK? Is there an easy way to expand? Yeah, I'm not an expert in this. It's definitely an area of lacking execution on my part. If I was going to expand through those, there are all these services and consultants out there that will help you for a small fee. I would personally just do that because, yeah, there's VAT. That's like the VAT, like the tax in Europe and stuff like that. And you do have to figure out the logistics of getting it there. You do need a different UPC, I believe. So, yeah, it's definitely a logistics, problem, but it's something you could figure out, and I would just go to the source for those. I forget, I don't know these off the top of my head, but yeah. I'm sorry, I meant when searching for the first product, do you take into consideration how well other product lines are doing before entering the market for the first product? Yeah, I do. So that's a big piece of why I think my product research criteria, like what I go deep on in Zero to Brand, like when I'm giving exactly how to do product research, I think that's one of the big aspects that differentiates me is, look, one product goes up, goes down. Product line is much more interesting. I think you guys are sold on that idea by now. I hope. If you're not, go back and watch all my older videos. But product line brand, way better than just single product, single product, single product. So that said, it is absolutely part of my first product strategy because I want to select a first product that I think I can grow into a product line because that's where the real value is going to be. I don't want to just type in the same criteria as everyone else in Jungle Scout. So what's the alternative strategy for locating a specific product to see if it's viable? Yeah, in this context, you're talking about the web app. If people don't know, Jungle Scout has two different tools. I've made a couple of videos on Jungle Scout. Just type in my name in Jungle Scout. You'll get plenty of information there, as well as there's a discount code for people that do want it in the description. I always say, though, you don't need it. I'm not a tools junkie. I actually think you basically don't need any tools. You don't need them. They help you. They save you time, stuff like that. It is one of the ones that I actually use and am very comfortable recommending. That said, that is one of the big problems, putting in the same criteria. I would definitely recommend watching me interview Greg Mercer, the founder and CEO of Jungle Scout. I posted that on my channel about a month ago. Again, just type in Matt Loverstein Jungle Scout. You'll find it for sure. We talk about that exact issue, so maybe I'll just leave this answer as that is I go deep into it there, but that is a problem. And the way to not, I guess I'll answer it. I just said I wouldn't, and then I am. The way to get around that is by look, if you trust somebody's criteria, if I was here on YouTube and just saying like, what you want to see is 300 sales on the first page and no more than 64 reviews. Like if I was telling you this stuff and everyone was going and doing it, everyone would be getting the same results. That's stupid. So never listen to somebody like that. You can use them as a rough guideline. You need to understand how these parameters work, but then you need to tweak them. For example, we were talking about price points. Maybe somebody's criteria is under $35. Maybe you go, I'm going to look at products that are $70 to $90. And immediately you're looking at this a little bit differently. Maybe you're looking at oversized items. Maybe you're looking at, items in different categories than people recommended. You need to tweak these parameters because as one goes up, like they're all in balance with each other. So yeah. And as far as, look, the evaluation matters more than the discovery. This is the way I teach it. This is the way I go deep in Zero to Brand about this. I'm only saying that because this is the way I talk. This is the way I organize that information. Is that there's the top of the funnel and there's the bottom of the funnel. What matters is sneak peek of the course, I guess. What matters is the evaluation more than just the ideas. You can get ideas from anywhere. Jungle Scout web app. Go to Target. Look on Instagram. Look around your house. See what your friend's kid is playing with. I mean, there's just infinite ways to get ideas, right? Like, you need to just go down the rabbit hole. What matters is to be able to evaluate those within the ecosystem of Amazon. Does this product make sense for Amazon? So I recommend having a large top of the funnel and then having a very tight evaluation method where you're figuring out which of these is actually going to be a profitable business on Amazon based on how well it's selling, based on the competition, based on how big the market is, based on can I differentiate it? What's the profit margin after the Amazon fees? Like, you need to understand this Amazon world, but however you found that idea to evaluate, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Like, as long as you somehow stumbled upon this as you stumbled upon 5,000 other ideas, what really matters is which 1 or 2 or 10 products do you end up actually moving forward with because you evaluated them within the context of what's going to be sellable. Go back and watch that again. How to validate your product idea. Well, that's one of the beautiful things about Amazon is you can see data of what is already happening. I think we overlook this almost. Like, I freak out about this. Like, this is incredible. It's unbelievable that we can see a very roughly accurate estimation of how much revenue something is doing on Amazon, the largest e-commerce platform. That's absurd. So that is your biggest validation point. Oh, Quinton is what you were drinking. Yeah, that's the plankton bloom. I get that sometimes. It comes in these little glass vials. You like break off the tip. It's tempered glass. It's like extracted from seawater in plankton bloom. So it's super high in all these minerals, and I don't even really understand that one, to be completely honest. I don't know exactly what it is, but I take it sometimes. Question from Paul Pop. We are pleased. Oh yeah. Okay. So Amazon sent out this email saying you have been chosen for premium account management support. All of that. Yeah, I think I got it also. For me, I don't know. I never, I just ignore all those emails that Amazon sends me. Could some of them have been good? Maybe, but I don't know. I have not really dove deep into any of those programs or offers. They are trying to sell you on something. Is it worth it in some case? Maybe. I'm not quite sure. I personally won't be looking into it. Hey, Sammer, what's up? The link to Biohack isn't in the description. Oh, it's because this is a live video. I haven't added it to my live one yet. Let me just see if I can grab the link right now. If not, check my other videos. It should be in the other videos. I'll just grab the link real quick, actually. Hang on. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. One sec. It's taking longer than I thought. Computer goes slow as I'm live. All right. Check now or check in a few seconds. It'll probably update it. If not, it'll be there afterwards or something like that, but I just added it in there. Yeah, sorry about that. Open a second channel with lifestyle videos. I want to keep my channel. I want to have one channel. I mean, I want this to be me, not just that. Like, the way I see it is like not every person has to love every single video. And I'm talking more for the future. Like maybe who knows, maybe in 3 years I'm posting a random, I don't know, car video or something like, and some people don't care about cars. Like, I mean, what is that? Like, is that a problem? Like, I mean, that doesn't mean like, oh, unsubscribe. Like, I hate you. I subscribed for Amazon FBA. Like, I don't know. Like, I just want to make videos about what I want to make videos about. And obviously, this is always going to be with a main focus on life optimization, business being a huge part of that. But yeah, I think it's too much work for me. I mean, having this one channel is already a ton of work with all the other stuff I'm trying to do. I cannot imagine trying to start another one. What do you think about creating a website for your brand? Yeah, very important. There's always resources in the description to all these tools I'm talking about, but I use both Shopify and ClickFunnels. They're used for different purposes. Kind of a long explanation to get into that, but in short, you can use ClickFunnels for deal offers, landing page, coupon, that type of stuff. Shopify is great for your brand presence. Maybe your insert card in your product and your packaging links back to your Shopify website. I personally use both Shopify and ClickFunnels. As entrepreneurs, we're interested in all that self-development stuff, not just FBA, so feel free to talk about it. Yeah, I agree. I appreciate you saying that. Keep pushing me on if you like that stuff as well, because it always feels good to know that people are interested in that stuff too. Let's see. For the first time someone launches, what do you think are the essential things that need to be done, i.e. PPC? So the way I structure this in when I teach it is that there's what's essential, which is the way you phrase the question, and then there's all these optional things that are definitely important to think about that can supercharge your business. I see you put the follow-up about like ManyChat, Facebook ads, influencers, etc. It's easy to get overwhelmed. That's exactly why I teach it the way that I do, is like, again, just to reference Zero to Brand, because that's the way I think about the flow of the way I organize this all. Is the way I have it organized in there is there's a section called Day One Launch. And in that section, it's everything you absolutely need to do at that time. And then there's a later section in scaling, which you can use as you're scaling your business, or you can layer those on top of the launch, which is highly recommended. But what's in there is the first part, which is like what's absolutely essential. And you touched on it a bit. PPC, I'll start there. Actually, I won't start there. I lied. What's absolutely essential is something that kind of goes pre-launch, is you need to have your listing as optimized as possible day one. Because you're going to have a disadvantage. You're not going to have any organic ranks. You're not going to have any reviews. So you're at a disadvantage from the beginning. So the more you can do to optimize your listing, the better that's going to position you for potential sales. And then you're going to be driving traffic to that page. You want that page to convert into sales. So one of the mandatory ways that you're going to get traffic right away, as you said, PPC. If you don't know what that is pay-per-click, Amazon sponsored products. This is Amazon's pay-per-click advertising program. So when you type in something into the search results, you see sponsored listings, you're paying to show up there when somebody clicks. So that's huge. Absolutely need to have an automatic campaign. I would always do that day one. That's controversial. Some people don't. I would always do it. I would also personally set up a manual campaign. If that overwhelms you, you should probably learn how. But you have to. I would still have the automatic even if they have the manual. I would have my email sequence on lock by day one as well, because any of those potential sales, you need to be able to follow up with them and hopefully turn them into raving customers that are going to spread the word, leave reviews, all of that stuff. So those are necessary. And obviously when I said listing optimization, that includes a lot of things. That includes your title, your photos, your bullets, your description. Maybe you have some coupons and promotions set up there. But yeah, that's like what I consider the absolutely mandatory things. And then there are all of these optional things that I would recommend to layer on top of it to take it to the next level to give you the best shot at blowing it out of the park. Do you consider the quality of your listing enough to differentiate? You know, in a lot of cases, yeah. And I hesitate to say that a bit because, like, you know, having a bit more of a differentiation would be good. I just realized I look really weird with this light on me from the blinds. Hopefully that looks fine, but whatever. Actually, let me fix it. Hit the like button. All right, and we're back. It's called thumbs up on YouTube. Keep those calls to action simple and frictionless. Thanks, Sammy. Thumbs up. Do people really not say the like button on YouTube? I think they say both. Where was I? Oh. Quality of listing, is it enough to differentiate? It can be done in a lot of cases. I just hesitate to say it because, like, you know, it's best to have something a little bit to push you over the edge, but I've definitely seen it done in a lot of cases, especially some of these markets that are tying back to, say, like the higher price point. A lot of those higher price point markets are these legacy sellers that have no idea what they're doing. And I definitely see a lot of potential there to just come in with a better listing. Even now, it's crazy because, I mean, how long have people been talking about this stuff now? Years and years and years. Yet I still see a lot of markets, honestly, that simply marketing it better would be enough. Again, hesitate to say that, but you got to start somewhere. What's up, Matt? I am scared shitless. See where I work, we have a lot of time off. A lot of people do other jobs. This will be perfect for me. I feel I need a mentor. Any help with that? Yeah, I mean, well, keep in mind, like, what? So you're scared of starting on Amazon, but what are you really scared of? Are you scared of losing money? Are you scared of somebody calling you stupid because you wasted your time? For me, I think you should be more scared of not doing it. You should be more scared of the potential regret of not starting a business and leaving your job or providing more for whatever your goals are, right? I think that is a bigger motivator for me personally, and I see that working for a lot of people. So, you know, that is scary to not do. To lose some money, not that scary. Like, you have to be in a position where you can risk some money. You can always keep working and make some more money to invest. Like, but to be so afraid that you never take that risk, to me, that is more terrifying. That's the real problem. But as far as needing a mentor, I mean, this is such an incredible time to be an entrepreneur. There's YouTube, there's Facebook groups, there's, you know, for those that do have the budget, there's courses in consulting. You know, there's podcasts, there's books, there's just so much resources out there. So I think, like, a lot of people have this concept of, like, mentorship a little weird. At least this is the way I feel about it, is like, you're not going to have, like frankly, I am not going to just, you know, come sit with you for free for 4 months to try to help you start a business. Like, I just don't have like the bandwidth for that. And most of these mentors don't have the bandwidth to do that. The way you can do that is to pay or to get around, like, to give value in other ways and immerse yourself in the community and stuff like that. To me, that's like the best thing you can do. Consume, learn it, connect with people, get a little group together. You know, maybe in the Facebook group, you find a few friends in there that are also in the same position and you kind of keep each other accountable, stuff like that. Yeah. I like the car clips every now and then. It's great motivation for my supercar dreams. Yeah, me too. What's the best way to get reviews since Amazon started cracking down? Well, I'll just say look up my video from about a month ago. It was like how to launch profitably and get reviews the right way, something like that. Because look, I'll keep this short. If you're doing things the right way, and if you've been doing these things the right way, nothing happened, nothing changed. So it's only affecting those that were on the fringe. And for me, and for what I'm saying, and for what I've been teaching for the last a year and 4 months on YouTube, it's everything that's on my channel is still relevant right now, because I'm not pushing you to break rules that are going to get you banned and get your reviews wiped out and stuff like that. I just thought about the Mark Zuckerberg drinking water thing. Gotta pretend I'm a human. Let's see. Have you ever sourced your products from 1688? I personally use an agent who buys products from 1688 and then sends them to me in the USA. Prices are usually lower than Alibaba. Thoughts? Thanks, Lobs. I personally have not. That said, like, I'm all for it. If you have had a great experience sourcing through there with an agent, all power to you. Go for it. Great. I just personally don't have any experience there, so I can't really speak to it too much. But, wherever you can find somebody. But only point I'll make is that cheap is not always best. So in a lot of cases, I'm not looking for the cheapest quote. I'm looking for who I think can do it the best and scale with me. Sammer Brex, how was the response from the Alex Becker video? Did he reach out? Great video. Thanks, dude. I appreciate that. No, he didn't reach out. I just saw last night that somebody else made a video like mine. So I think maybe I'm starting a little trend here. Not really, but I think it's weird that nobody else did, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, he didn't reach out. I don't know. I thought it was, my thoughts are in the video. No new thoughts, I guess. Hopefully he comes back. I like his videos. I think he's a smart dude. I think he's an entertaining guy. Yeah, I don't think he should leave entirely. If I keep hitting the like button, I am unliking. Yeah. If you're going to hit the thumbs down, hit it twice. I learned that one from Graham Stephan. If none of the suppliers seem very good, do you go with the less shitty option or do you pass on the product? Keep digging, I would say. Like, I haven't really run into that issue where none of them are going to work. Keep digging. There's got to be something that, maybe they won't be the supplier of your dreams, but like it should work. So pick the best of them at the least, I would say. Unless it's like really bad. If you literally think you cannot work with them, then you can't do it, I guess. Guys, hit up more questions. Matt, how's your sales lately? Is it just me or it's everywhere? I've been experiencing a dead sale for a couple of months now. This is different in every business seasonally. For me personally, 3 years ago, this time of year, I'd be freaking out. Now I just know this is the trend of my business. So I always have a pretty significant dip in, say, probably starts like September basically, and goes until the Q4 ramp up. So it always, like, my graph would be like, dipping off and then a huge up at the end. So I would say it's common, but I would also say, like, I know people that it's the opposite. Like, every product has a little bit of a different seasonality to it. So, factor that in. Tips for Q4 if starting, higher initial inventory. So I would always say having a little higher initial inventory is a good thing. I'd rather have a little too much than a little too little, personally. The main tip would be is that you can leverage this a little bit to accelerate your launch, because all this Q4 stuff is happening, which means there's higher buyer intent, there's more traffic. higher buyer intent means more conversion, more of that traffic is converting. It's just a time for you to like kind of accelerate that launch because there's more potential eyeballs for you to grab. There's more people you can get out in front of with your product at that time. So that's like the only real difference is that you can accelerate it because there's more potential for you to tap into and kind of kickstart your launch a little bit extra with the added traffic. Matt, do I need an LLC? Do you have an LLC or a corp? My advice and what I do is LLC taxed as S corporation. If you're not, though, if you're at the very beginning, I would just say LLC. If you start making 6 figures in profit, convert your LLC to be taxed as an S corp, and there will be a lot of tax advantages to having it taxed as an S corp. The reason to not necessarily do that from the very beginning is that if you're not making much money from your business yet, the upkeep costs of having your CPA figure out all the payroll and all the stuff that goes along with having an S corp, it's not going to be worth. You're going to have to pay for that stuff with a CPA. It's going to cost you, a few thousand a year at least, probably. So it's like unless you're making enough money that the tax break saves you more than you're spending, until then it doesn't make sense. Did that make sense? I think it made sense. After getting your haircut, I've been successful. Yeah, I mean, that's the real secret. That's it for this video. Get my haircut. No afraid of failing since I failed twice already in other businesses. Don't want to do it again. I'm learning as much as I can. Not afraid of failing. Afraid of failing. I mean, failing is part of the process. Like every failure teaches you something. Look up the video on my channel of the story of my first product. Matt Loberstein, why my first product failed, story of my first product, something like that. You'll find it. Yeah, watch that video. I think that you have to roll your failures into the next attempt and be a little bit stronger on the next one, and roll your successes into the next success as well. Thoughts on Graham's Gary Vee video? Yeah, I liked it. I'm so glad he did it. Honestly, like now I feel weird because like I've wanted to do a video like that for a really long time, and I don't want it to seem like if I made it right now, it'd just be like, oh, he's just copying Graham's video. Graham wouldn't mind. I'm cool with Graham. I just I don't want to just be like copy. Like I never copy people's videos, and I want to make a video like that, but I'll probably wait now until it settles down. But yeah, I mean, as much as I like Gary Vee, like there are some points I would like to make to the contrary. So I think at some point I will make a video like that about Gary. Though actually the points that I wanted to make were not the points that he made. Some overlap, but I think it'd be interesting because it's not just going to be a repeat of his thoughts by any means. But yeah, I think we see similarly on it. Top 3 things you look for when researching a product. Number 1, market size. Is there money flowing in this market? If it's dead, I don't want to touch it. Number 2, this is the nuanced point. This is the one that has a bit of a craft to it that you need to learn, which is, does that market size versus the current amount of competition leave room for me? Like, is there room for me to jump into this market and get a healthy number of sales that I want without trying to bank on being number 1? Like, for example, if there are 2 sellers doing really well and 100 doing really badly, that is not a good bet to take. Are there 4 sellers and 3 of them are doing well? Are there 50 sellers and 25 of them are doing well? Like, those are different. Now it's like a different landscape of, can I maybe fit in there? Third point, back to what I was talking about earlier in the video, can that first product lead into a brand? That's a huge one for me. Getting sales organically, but not through PPC. What do? Good problem. I mean, getting sales organically is like, that's the great part. PPC, it just sounds like you must, either your niche is one of these rare niches that is blown out with PPC, meaning it's way too expensive to make any freaking sense, which is rare, but does happen. I was just on a consulting call this week, and yeah, like, you know, PPC was just not gonna work in his context. That's rare, but it does happen. If you're not getting sales through PPC, but you're getting sales organically, I mean, there's so many things there. I feel like I would literally need to look at. I would need to know exactly what you're running, exactly what's happening, where are the sales, what spend is. Are you getting spend? Is it not getting traffic? Like, there's so many variables here that's kind of hard to give like a blanket answer. But yeah, I'm not really sure what to say. But I mean, you know, dive in deep to it. Do a lot of new tests and new campaigns. Make sure you're getting actual spend. Then, you know, refine. How do you feel about marketing name brand products which you have bought from a wholesaler and marked up on Amazon a comfortable percentage? I think there's people that do well on that. It's not my business model, so I'm not exactly qualified to talk about it. I don't do that model, but I know people that do well with it. It's just its own business model, you know. Can it be profitable? Yeah. I think one of the downsides is you don't own that brand equity, which to me, like, that's the whole excitement, is building up something that you control. Because with a wholesaler, you're just playing like the financial arbitrage game. If somebody else comes in and can undercut you, you're done. How to push yourself out of the comfort zone and stay motivated? It's a great question. I don't know if I am qualified or have a fantastic answer to it. How do you push yourself out of the comfort zone? I mean, just throwing yourself into it, like knowing that where your resistance is probably where there's a level up for you. Like, in that difficulty is where something is going to come out of it. For example, I hesitated with starting a YouTube channel for so long. I'm not the most extroverted guy. I've never talked on a camera before. I was pretty isolated and stuff. It wasn't comfortable, but I just said, fuck it. Like, what's the worst that could happen? And especially when you know that there's a potential reward linked to that discomfort. So if you can figure out, like, why are you interested in doing the uncomfortable thing? Like, you shouldn't just, like, you know, like, you're not going to just go put your hand on the stove just because it's uncomfortable. But, you know, you might want to say, start a YouTube channel because it's uncomfortable and you know it could lead to XYZ for you. So that. And how do you stay motivated? Sometimes I lack motivation for sure. Sometimes, like, I don't claim to be a productivity machine, a motivation machine. I think maybe for me, the best motivation was when things weren't going well. Like, at the early days, like, I had to make it work. I had to. So, I mean, I was like infinitely motivated then. So I think it changes. And I think that right now, this kind of ties into the Gary Vee thing. There is so much pressure on us as entrepreneurs to act like we're hustling 24/7, we're motivated 24/7, we're grinding 24/7, and it's just like, that's not what it's about. So, you know, maybe you're the right amount of motivated. Maybe you're doing the right amount of work. Maybe you're doing too much work. Maybe you're being too hard on yourself. Maybe, like, you just need to make a few little steps per week, and then those add up, you know, like. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's not the best advice to myself either, but that's just like kind of where my headspace is on it. Randall, once established with many products, is it possible to hire someone to manage all your reorders and PPC, or does this break Amazon's rules? No way does that break Amazon's rules. I mean, that's how big companies operate in every single space. It's like an agency. That's why there's user permissions up in the top right of Seller Central. You can add users to your account. This is for agencies, employees, anything that's outsourced. It's absolutely designed for that. They don't want a business to just be one person. They expect teams to be on there. They expect, your stuff to be outsourced to an agency. Like, there's so many agencies. Like, I do that to some extent. I have some user permissions for me on multi 7-figure brands that need help with Amazon, and I'm a user on their account because I'm like an agency for their account. So yeah, no, that doesn't break Amazon's rules by any stretch. It's literally designed for that. Is Jessica into biohacking? Are her supplements different from yours? Yeah, she is. Jessica majored in nutrition, so we're hardcore into this together. Do her supplements differ? Not particularly, no. Pretty much the same. Yeah, basically the same. There's some that like she'll sometimes skip more than me or something like that, but nothing that's like strictly men or women, really. Matt, I love you. Thank you. I love you too. Why would my product fail if I did proper product research? A million reasons. Geez, it's never a guarantee. If even me, like, I can't look at a product and tell you with 100% certainty if it's going to fail or succeed before you launch it. There are a lot of unforeseen variables, and that's why there's some element of risk to it. So, all you're doing with proper product research is trying to give yourself the best odds. You're not necessarily going to guarantee your success by any means. You just want to mitigate your risk as much as possible, and give yourself the best shot you possibly can at building it to be profitable. So, why could it fail? There's there could be regulatory type of stuff. I see that, causing issues with some people. It could end up getting too saturated over time for sure. Maybe you didn't know that PPC was going to be just absolutely wrecked in that niche, and it's just way too expensive for it to make any sense. And then now that's going to affect your strategy on some level, because now you can't use PPC the way that you plan to. Or, there's just so many, there's a lot of things for sure. And this is all kind of like, there is some element of mystery to it because there's so many of these things that work in conjunction. So it's really just about mitigating risk as much as possible and trying to position yourself for as much upside as possible. Please would you say, wake up Kareem, get on your feet, get back to work, to use for my alarm. Your videos and live streams motivate me the most. Thanks again, and sorry for the weird request. Yeah, rip out that audio. Let me know if you actually do it. That's hilarious. Is it normal to get 0 sales after $75 of ad spend and 0 reviews? Wait, where'd the question go? Shit. Is it believable? Yeah, sure. But is it good? No, it's not good, but does it happen? Yeah. In that case, you're not dealing with a PPC issue typically, you're dealing with a conversion issue. So this would go back to listing optimization, look in your business reports, unit session percentage, that's your conversion rate. That's how you can figure out of this many people that saw my listing, how many of them are buying, and you want to increase that percentage. So what affects conversion rate? Title, photos, bullets, the product itself. So the more you can sort of optimize your conversion, that's going to affect your PPC. For example, if your conversion doubles, now your PPC leads to twice as many sales. So that halves your ACOS also. Do comics sell on Amazon? I want to sell my comic collection. I would say eBay for that. eBay for sure. Another quick reminder, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the thumbs up. Sorry, Sammer. Thumbs up button. Hit it, please. And if you don't hit it, at least do this for me. Just tell me why. Like, I just want to know. It's okay. It's okay. I just want to know why. Like, why not just hit the little thumbs up button? How are the new houseplants? Houseplants are crushing. I've learned something about plants. Here's my number one hidden trick to houseplants. Okay, are you guys ready for this? I should charge for this. This should really be in the private mastermind. Here's the trick to houseplants. Big plants are much easier than small plants. Small plants, fucking die at their first chance to die. They just take any chance they get to die. Big plants are much more resilient. They can withstand a lot more. So big plants are absolutely key. So when you're doing your plant research, make sure you set the criteria for large plants and not small plants. It's going to just really increase your chances of success with that plant. When you're researching for a product, are you making little tweaks to differentiate or simply manufacturing from scratch based on demands? Much more on the little tweaks side. The way I see it is, in a way, and I think there was another question earlier that I didn't get to that was related to this too, so this should help for you as well. The more you change a product, the more risk it actually is too. The more potential upside there is, because if it works, now you control that market. But if it doesn't work, you're stepping out on a limb and you're doing something weirder that's it's unproven. So the larger the differentiation, the more risk reward spread. Does that make sense? That's the way that I see it. So for me, it's more about incremental but important steps up in improvement. So it's not about completely doing something from absolute scratch and creating a new market. It's more about like, how can I make a meaningful improvement without going absolutely crazy? Just enough so I can really jump into that market. I can't find the thumbs up button. What? If you're on mobile, you have to hit the X on the chat and then it's there, and then go back to the chat after. So maybe that's why you guys aren't hitting the like button. Hit the little X on the chat, hit the like, and then hit the chat. You have to like go out of the chat to hit the like. Hit the thumbs up. Sorry, Sammer. Sammer's gonna kill me. Let's see. What to do if seller support does not resolve your issue? Yeah, you have to. That's common. You gotta get on them again and again and again until you find somebody that will. That's honestly the best piece of advice I can give you in that context. A lot of them suck, and you have to get one that knows what they're doing and try again every day until you do. Matt, looks like Amazon is shutting down giveaway services. Do you think they will still allow email follow-up services in the future? Yeah, I mean, I've been saying this about giveaway services forever, since before I started a YouTube channel. So yeah, I mean, that, like I said earlier, doesn't really change with the type of stuff that I'm talking about and teaching. It's all the same for me. Do you think they will still allow email follow-up services in the future? About 2 years ago, or maybe like a year and a half ago, I was pretty concerned that this was changing. This was when they introduced the opt-out thing, though since then it's been quiet. So it seems fine. I don't see anything changing with that right now. I was really concerned about that at the time, but since then it's settled down and they seem to be happy with the current system of opt-out and all that. I haven't really heard anything about it recently, so not too worried. Let's see. I'm trying to rank for a product, and to do this, I'm basically running a lot of PPC and selling at a lower price. I'm not profitable at this point and wanted to know when I should raise prices. My answer is to test everything. It might sell better at a high price. Lowering price does not always proportionally lead to more sales. So maybe all you have to do right now is raise your price by $5 and sell the same amount, except now you're actually profitable. So test it. Steven, dude. What's up, Steven? How's it going? Can you recommend any books that affected your way of thinking? I'll mention some that were instrumental for me early on that I have not necessarily revisited recently. So some of these I've said, I'm curious what I would think now, because at the time they were like, whoa, but I wonder if now I'd be like, it's like basic. But a couple of those were The Millionaire Fastlane. That one was really good. The Personal MBA was good. This one I have reread, but 4-Hour Workweek. Everyone should read The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. What else was early on, like for my way of thinking? What's interesting you word it that way, because I think the first category of books that I really went deep into were neuroscience books, psychology books. I majored in psychobiology at UCLA. That was what I studied. I'm deeply into that, and I think I don't know, in some way it probably mixed into this current mindset for sure, in ways that I don't even know how to explain, but I think so. But yeah, those were some early business ones that stick out to me. E-Myth Revisited. Yeah, those are the big ones earlier on. I wonder, like, I think about this a lot though. I think about this so much, is that like, how do you take somebody from, like, let's say where I was in mindset to where I am now? Like, how do I help somebody go from a mindset where they don't think it's possible, they can't do it, to a mindset of like basically anything being possible? I don't know. I think if anyone can crack that, like, that's impressive. I think that, that's ultimately what we're all trying to do with creating content and stuff like that. I think it plays a role in that, but like how you just get somebody to have that shift, massively interesting and difficult. I don't know, like, yeah, but like the more you can hear stories, watch videos, listen to podcasts, read these books, I think that is the best advice I can give to change your mindset, is like immerse yourself in that stuff. And eventually it just becomes normal to your brain. I'm going to create numerous YouTube accounts just so I can give you more thumbs up. That's the way to do it. I appreciate that a lot. Anyways, I'm at the end of the questions. If you guys have any last questions, if there's any last questions, leave it in there, and then we'll wrap up within the next few minutes, depending on how many people actually take me up on that. Otherwise, hit the thumbs up. What did I want to explain? Zero to Brand is always in the description. Full training on how to leverage Amazon FBA, launch a profitable product, and grow that product into a scalable brand. That's there for those that want to join there. There's also 2 free Facebook groups, the Biohacking group, the Entrepreneurship Amazon group. Both are in there. Links to all the resources from Shopify to Jungle Scout, all those different tools, and a lot of discounts are always down there in the description. Even the camera gear I use, since I get asked about that, is also down in the description. But yeah, always, there's always sort of resources left down there for you guys. And last couple questions, then we'll wrap up. How are your sales on new product launches? I and others have no sales to 1 a day for the last couple weeks. They just stopped for the most part. Amazon rigged this. On my personal, so I'll speak to a specific case of, I just launched a product with a partnership within the last few weeks. And it seems to be taking the normal trajectory, which is not immediate success. What you want to see is like, gradual growth. So I don't think anything is particularly different right now than it was 3 months, 6 months, 12 months ago. I see no indication for that whatsoever. So not really sure like what facet of that is where your question lies, but I wouldn't be concerned about things changing. All of these tweaks are always pretty minor, and there's always a new way of meandering. Are lower priced products easier for managing cash flow and inventory when starting out? Yes, but they're also tougher to have any profit. So it's tougher to actually run it. But yeah, I mean, of course your inventory, your initial investment's probably going to be lower, so that helps. But yeah, I mean, it's a trade-off. Okay, last question, because I like this one a lot. Amazon starting its own private label. Oh my God, Amazon is dead. Yeah, Amazon has their own brands, not just Amazon Basics. They have their own covert brands, private label brands that they create, they own. They make up names, they source the products, all of that. This has been going on for a few years. A few thoughts on this, and I might make let me know if I should make a full video on this in the comments, because I've been thinking about it. But here's where I got concerned for the first time ever was about 2 months ago. And that was because they did this one test where they would show up on somebody else's product. They would say, hey, Amazon has one too. And it would literally be a link to their brand of the product. And I was like, whoa, that's like overstepping a little bit. That's pretty crazy. That was the first time I was like, whoa, they're really going aggressive with their own brands. Now, that said, it's not the end for, it's the end. Sorry guys, it's the end. It's not the end. It's just like, look, it's everything that I'm talking about building a brand. That is why I talk about the stuff I talk about, because nobody can take brand equity away from you. Like, no platform, nothing. So look, does Amazon sell their own products? Yeah. Does that mean you can't be successful? No, it doesn't mean that. So you just have to play your game. You can do a lot of things better than Amazon can. I just made a post in the Facebook group last night showing one of Amazon's brand's photos, and I was pointing out that they weren't good. And that is a perfect example of the fact that we can still do more than Amazon in a lot of cases. We can give it that love and attention that it needs to be successful. Amazon doesn't have time for that. They can't, I mean, yeah, I'm sure they have whole teams devoted to this, but like, yeah, they'll push those products further. Those products will succeed, but like, there's always a variety of brands and products that are succeeding. It's never just one that wins. Like, there's not one brand of water. You know, we have Apple and Samsung. We have, we have how many different brands of microphones exist? Like, I mean, if Amazon came out with their own microphone, actually that's a good example. Tripods. Amazon Basics has a tripod. I bought a tripod from this really reputable photography brand that's been around forever. So, I mean, yeah, that's what I have to say about that. It is a little concerning, but I'm not that afraid of it, and it just makes me even more bullish on brands and brand equity and positioning unique products. That said, that's going to do it. If you're in here live, I'll hop into the chat typing for a few minutes after with these last questions that I didn't see as I was just talking. But yeah, hit the thumbs up. All those links are in the description. Thank you so much for being here, for subscribing, for hitting the bell so that you'll know when I do this and all that stuff. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your attention. I respect your time. Never want to waste it. That is the real resource. So thank you, and see you soon.